show and some of the upcoming episodes, we're going to talk about overcoming age and injury by use of more efficient technique and focusing on the parts of your body that are still working well. There's no athlete I've seen more impressive than 80-year-old Rudy Bloomstrom. When he came to us last winter for a lesson, he was hitting 265. When he left, he was hitting over the 300-foot fence, hit some balls in the 325 range. And he told me the first league game he had this year, he hit at 340. He's absolutely amazing. And to think of him being 80 years old and only 174 pounds, I've seen all the great hitters in the game, from Mike Masenko to Brett Helmer. And really, for me, I've never seen anybody more impressive with that combination of power for being 80 years old. But when we talk about injury, I'm going to talk about something specific today, and that's myself. I have a back injury, which a lot of athletes have. And when you have a back injury, I have a L5-S1 disc, which is collapsed, and it pinches my nerves off. I get cramping in my glutes and my piriformis, and now I have numbness in both feet. And that certainly takes away from your ability to rotate. And a lot of athletes that have knee problems or artificial hips and artificial knees and joints have the same problems. I'm going to talk about a couple things I tried, and one that didn't work so well, one that worked real well. When I left Worlds last year, I had a great World tournament. My team lost in extra innings in the championship game. But what I tried to do is just lower on the rear leg and really drive and snap the wrists and use the hips to drive the ball away from me. Over the course of the winter, when I got back from Worlds, I didn't hit much over the winter time. I went to Softball Magazine spring training. It only took about 24 swings because I had such cramping in my back, and I thought to myself, I really need to work on my rotation. So I spent the next 2 months coming into my first tournament this year really trying to stretch out, get more rotation with the hips and the shoulders, and to really try to become more fluid than I was before. And I went to my first tournament, just did horrible, the worst senior tournament I've ever had. I was dragging the bat. I focused so much on rotation, I wasn't getting the drive and snap that we needed to deliver the bat head or our weapon to the ball to drive it away from us. So I decided to go back to the perfect snap and really work on that and hope I could get just enough hips to drive myself open, but to really get a great drive, a lag, and a snap to the point of impact. And one of the things that Rudy did to get himself up to such a high level is he was doing 250 snaps a day. So I started doing 150 snaps a day. At a tournament last weekend where my son Brett and my godson Kyle were playing in, it's a young guys tournament we have locally here. And I said, well, I'll play one game just to see how I do because I wanted to play with those guys. I did those snaps, and I went into that tournament and I felt in horrible physical shape, yet I performed really well. And so I learned from that really the most important part of the swing, I think, for us as rec players is to take the weapon that you have in your hands, turn your body just enough so you can drive your hands and snap. And with minimal amount of hip power and limiting back issues, I was able to really work on this drive and snap much as Rudy did. So that's the one thing we want to work on today. I'm going to show you several drills that we can use to really try to implement that snap.
My name's Rudy Bloomstrom. I'm from the Lehigh Valley area in Pennsylvania. I've been out of baseball for 55 years, and this year I decided that I'd like to try to get back playing ball again. So I auditioned for a slow pitch league in Allentown, PA, and played in 52 games last year. My learning curve was quite slow until I discovered Bogey's videos on YouTube, and I kept studying them ad nauseum until I developed a good swing, and I've really improved tremendously. I'm here to get the fine touches from the best there is.
Oh, nobody likes an ass kisser except for us, Rudy. You know, you're hitting the ball here today with that DeMarini balanced around 275, 280 feet at your top end, and with a little bit of a wind blowing in, not the greatest conditions. Now, what would you like to improve on today? You talked about wanting more power because you have a 250 fence back home.
Yeah, I have a 250 fence. We play another fields that's 270, and I want an occasional, not that I tried there, but I would try to get a couple out every now and then. I hit a lot of line drives now, and I'm very satisfied with that, but as everybody with their ego wants to hit a couple out of the park every now and then.
Well, you say the guys parked behind the fence and you wouldn't mind denting up a car to show them that...
I'd love to do that. These guys keep mocking me, you're not going to get any over the fence. So I want to go back and dent a few cars with these old geezers.
Talking about one thing was the perfect snap drill helped you out too.
I think, by and large, when I saw one of his latest videos of the perfect snap, that is the secret to everything. It makes your hands at the right place when you do that. It's simply the chopping of the wood that Brett shows, and occasionally Bogey will show you that. But it's that chopping and then taking that right back with the bank.
At an up angle.
At an up angle, and that has changed everything for me, mostly.
I think one of the interesting things is that, like Brett said, there's very few things you do in life where you swing up. And so it's an unnatural act to try to get an up angle. And I think as seniors, if we don't get a good base and get our weight transfer, Destiny did a nice job on that weight transfer drill. But more than anything else on that weight transfer, Rudy, what we're going to work on today, what I really like you to do, winding, and that stride isn't to go linear forward so much as it is to get the weight shifted and to get a base you can rotate against. We can get more wind into your swing, then we can get a better unwind and we get a little faster rotation.
I think that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I think on your timing, you understand that your wind is really what does your timing for you. So I think if we can lengthen that motion out, make it a little bit bigger, and have the tempo, your tempo is nice and easy.
It would be better to slow that down too.
I think so. Because more power is going to come from more wind, and your wrist snap appears to be at times a little bit draggy. And so if we can understand that when you rotate your hips open, you'll go from here to here. As we rotate, watch my hand. I come around here, I should be snapping ready. So I mean, from the very start of the swing, we need to be torquing early. It's not a drag and then a snap. It's an immediate torque. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Nice.
Bad pitch, but a hit.
Good ball.
That's out of here.
That's a good hit.
That's out.
Hit near the top of the palm tree on that one, all the way out. That one's out too.
Oh man!
That's out there.
Rudy, that went over a 300-foot fence.
Did it?
Went over the second fence by plenty.
That's good. That's a good
Get your butt up here. Get your butt up here.
Yeah.
More wind and a better snap. But from taking the tee and the live hitting, probably the tempo and the timing is what really finished it out for you today. Yes, sir. So
All right,
have a safe trip back. So there's 4 drills that can get you on your way to being a stud like 80yr.Rudy. And the first one is to take a cut-off bat. Simply put a bolt in the end of it, and I taped it up. And you can sit and do these anywhere, perfect snaps. Do some of them at a down angle. Remember, it's important to drive, extend, and snap the wrist in one motion to take the bat head on a straight line from start to impact with the ball. It'll help you teach your wrists how to work properly. Again, turn your hips part way open, drive, extend, and snap to impact. Over and over, changing your angle and varying around. I like to do these in a swivel chair in the house because you can rotate your hips open, emulating the hips opening in the swing, and you can do a perfect snap. It works awesome. You can do it anytime, any place. And we go ahead and take our wind, reach our brace leg ahead. We can work on our tempo. We can work on our connection. Our hands should be back. We go ahead and we can work on our rotation and feel that the hips pulling open against the front brace leg, getting our weight transfer and our rotation. And we simply drive and extend and snap in one motion to create that snap. When you feel like you've got that point of contact established, this last drill is just awesome because it's like a mini lesson every time you go out, because it incorporates every part of the swing to and through contact and finally finishes at full extension after impact. And we call it the combo snap drill. You push yourself into your stride, working on your time and your tempo. You get a little bit of coil and pre-swing wind. Your hips rotate open, and we drive and extend our hands from point A to point B, full extension. And it's that explosion that gives us a path through the ball. We don't hit the ball and glance off, we explode through it. And whereas in the other swing makeover episodes we had, a couple episodes ago, we talked about balancing in the middle of that ability to rotate and to drive and extend the arms, getting that perfect snap. Last episode, Brett talked about how the hips accelerate early to start the swing, then we catch up with the balance. But here, our hips continue to accelerate, but we get that quick burst at the end. Bat head here, A, boom, B to finish. And that's really going to give us that last burst of power. And you're going to find you're going to really maximize your power and your consistency, because you aren't going to just guide and maybe go off that path. You're going to, boom, trust it and go A to B and really explode. It's a great drill and a great warm-up drill to go with all the other tools we use.
I don't always swing senior bats, but when I do, I prefer the DeMarini. Stay in loaded, my friends.
Your product, you were swinging the new DeMarini Senior Unload.
Yeah, I felt the ball, when I hit it right, I felt it really pop. Nice.
And you're NSA mostly. How did you like the flipper aftermath?
Actually, I liked it a lot. I've never really used DeMarini. I've always kind of stuck with certain brands, but so far I think this is my farthest hit.
Well, when you're at Truman Stadium, you'll always be swinging DeMarini.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the best product at the market. So, what did you think of the Evil BP ball the first time hitting that?
First time I hit it, it had a firmer feel than I was used to, but as my mechanics improved, the feel of the ball got a lot softer and it's got a nice carry, a nice feel to it.
Shirts and Logos is not only your stop for custom sublimated uniforms, but we also carry hard goods from Louisville Slugger, Easton, and many others. Contact shirtsandlogos.com to order your hard goods along with your uniforms.